Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh my goodness, it's a good morning. Yesterday was our 200th episode, and welcome to It Came Out of the Refrigerator. I am your narrator, Waking 314, and today is episode 201. We have a great episode for you today. I found this amazing short story. I think it's going to be super cool to read this one. I'm going to link into the description below. With that being said, let's get started. Once upon a time, there were two boys who lived on a quiet island. They would spend the bulk of their days repairing fishing wares and lobster traps. They lived just two houses down from the island's lighthouse, where the land stretched high above the sea to form great cliffs of the black rock. After their work on their wares and traps, they loved nothing more than to play ball in a spacious patch of grass that reached from their garden to the edge of the cliff. They would spend all their evening hours playing there until the light was swallowed by the sea. But they had to play cautiously, every weary of the stark cliff. They were accustomed to this piece of land, and they formed a short sort of mental boundary beginning at the end, about 10 paces from the cliff's edge, before which rough and speedy play was not allowed. One day, a carpenter who had been working on the lighthouse traveled through the cliff's path back down to the village after his day's work. He passed through the boys' patch of land. The boys were playing ball, as they did this reliably at this hour. He stopped and observed their play for some time. When a natural break in the game allowed him to notice them, they rushed over to greet his rare visitor. "You boys could really stretch your legs and make use of this land if there was a fence along this edge." "I could build you one," said the carpenter. "No doubt you could build. No doubt you could, and even less doubt that it would be a solid fence," replied the eldest boy. "But the trouble with fences is that they tend to keep out visitors like yourself. We wouldn't want to miss out on the traveler's stories, or worse yet, an official bringing fireworks on New Year's Day," exclaimed the younger boy. The carpenter did not protest. He simply bid the boys farewell. A few weeks later, the boys were returning home after a short trip to the mainland, when upon summiting the hill that led up to their patch of grass, they discovered that had been a fence erected. It was a great solid fence that ran along the cliff's edge and created a secure perimeter around the field. "That carpenter went and did it," protested the eldest boy with a fist clenched. In his turn, the younger boy kicked the ground and spat. After some moping and cursing, not entirely dissuaded, the boys fetched the ball and began to play. At first it was unusual, cautious, and within the confines of the metal boundary that kept them from nearing the edge. But gradually the boys began to more and more freely, throwing and chasing the ball with more fervor and gusto than ever. New plays emerged. Creativity and spontaneity sprang up naturally in their play, and they lost track of time and space, fully immersed in the experience. They quickly adjusted to the fence and to the absence of danger, and were finally able to play to their full capacity. Suddenly, the flow of the game was interrupted by the clatter of metal. They looked up and saw a traveler dressed in foreign garb walking in their field. "Hello, traveler. Welcome," shouted the elders. "But how, sir, did you get over this great fence?" "Through the gate and started the path," replied the traveler. "Now, if you boys know how to make a pot of tea, I'd be happy to share a few stories in the exchange." The end. This whole week's story is about always be yourself. But the primary reason for these stories this week is about setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't bad. Boundaries sometimes help you get to your full potential. Boundaries sometimes put those blockers in place around you so you can go reach and explore. And sometimes you can even imagine and just be more creative because they are there. And you know that there's edges that you're not supposed to go beyond. But while those edges are there and you can see those edges and you know those boundaries are there, it allows you to create a little bit better in your mind. Sometimes it just brings you peace. Sometimes it just keeps bad things out. But boundaries aren't bad things. They allow us to be who we naturally are. I'm going to link to this story in the description below. And after this, we'll be in our transition series, and then we'll be in next week's episode. So I just want to say thank you. Today's snack is lobster bisque soup. But it's not normal lobster bisque soup. I added a little lobster to it. I added some shrimp. I added some crawfish tails, and for some reason, I love it with a little cheese on top. Um, it always tastes delicious to me when you add the little cheese on there. It gives it a little extra flavor. A little salt and pepper in it, that's all. Nothing wild, but it is absolutely delicious. And today, because it's an enjoyable day, I brought back Willie the White Whale and his cousin. No, I did not lose them. I always enjoy them, seeing them in the video. So please, be safe. As always, be blessed. And remember, all are welcome here. Thank you.